Here's how to solve quadratic inequalities with just algebra, no graphing required. Alright, so here's the example problem that we'll be doing in this video. We need to solve x squared plus 2x minus 15 is greater than or equal to 0. So this is like one of those solve for x problems where we have to figure out what numbers can go into x to make the equation true. And normally with quadratic equations, we'll have like two answers, like two numbers could go into x. But in this case, any numbers that will make it greater than or equal to 0 are true. So we're going to have a ton of answers. Our final answer is going to be something like, x is greater than 4 or something like that. But it might actually be a little more complicated, and I'll show you why in a second. So the way that we solve this is actually pretty similar to a normal inequality that's not even a quadratic equation. So for example, if we had something like x plus 3 is less than 5, if we wanted to solve this, we'd first have to just treat this like an equal sign, and we'd solve x plus 3 is equal to 5. So here we'll do the same thing. We're going to solve what's called the related equation. We're going to solve x squared plus 2x minus 15 is equal to 0. And that will tell us our boundaries, which will make sense in a second. So how can we solve this? The three good ways to solve a quadratic equation are factoring, completing the square, and the quadratic formula. And you're free to use these however you want. You can try whichever ones you want first. For me personally, I always try to use factoring first because it's the easiest one. And if factoring doesn't work, then I just do the quadratic formula, which works every time. I don't really use completing the square that much, but this is all just a matter of preference and what you like. So if you're not sure how to factor, I do have a video on it that you can watch on the card on the screen right now, but I'm also going to show you how to do it here. And basically the goal of factoring is to figure out two numbers that add up to this middle number, the one that's next to x, and multiply together to get this number, the number that doesn't have a letter next to it. And that's going to give us our two numbers that go in these parentheses. We want it to be in this format. So let's go ahead and go through the factors of 15. It is negative 15, but we are just going to treat it like positive 15 for now, and we'll worry about the negative signs later. So 15 is 1 times 15. And now which one do we make negative? Because this is a negative number here, and a positive times a negative makes a negative. But we are adding up to a positive number, which means the bigger number is going to be the positive one. So we're going to be putting negative signs on the smaller numbers. So if we were to add these two numbers, we would get 15 minus 1, which is 14. That is not even close to 2. So we're going to disregard this one. The only other factors that make 15 are 3 times 5. And we have to make the smaller number negative because this is adding up to a positive number. And negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. And they add up to 5 minus 3, which is 2. And yeah, that's the number we're looking for. So we found our two numbers here that we're going to be putting in these blanks. So we have negative 3 and positive 5. So we're just going to continue solving this like normal. And with factoring, the step to recognize here next is we have two things here being multiplied and are making 0. And anything times 0 is 0. So if either of these becomes 0, if this is 0 or if this is 0, the whole thing is 0. So just because this is equal 0, we could split this up into two equations. So we'll have x minus 3 equals 0, and we'll have x plus 5 equals 0. And now we'll solve each equation individually. So x minus 3 equals 0. We have to get rid of this minus 3, so we'll add 3 to both sides. These cancel out, and we just have x equals, and then 0 plus 3 is 3. And now we have x plus 5 equals 0. We have to get rid of this plus 5 by doing the opposite of plus, which is minus. So we will subtract 5 from both sides. These cancel, and we just have x equals, and then 0 minus 5, this 0 isn't doing anything, so it's just minus 5. So we have our two answers to this equation here, the one with the equal sign. So how does that help us to solve this with the greater than or equal to sign? Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and draw a number line, because I think that'll help us visualize this. All right, so here's our number line. We have the numbers from negative 6 to 6. You could put whatever numbers you want, but I want to make sure we can fit these numbers. So these were our answers for the equation with the equal sign, but for the equation with the inequality sign, these numbers are actually just going to be boundaries. So we're going to go ahead and put dots on these two numbers, and you have to ask yourself what kind of dot we're going to put. If you know about how to solve regular inequalities, you might know that if you have this little line underneath, this means or equal to, then you're going to draw a filled in circle because the circle is part of the answer. If it's just this sign, then you would put an open circle like this that's not filled in because it's not part of the answer. But in this case, we do have a line underneath. So we're going to put filled in circles on 3, which is right here, and -5, which is right here. So we have boundaries, and now you may notice that we have 3 sections. We have a section right here that goes on infinitely this way, like in this direction. We have a big section here that goes in between these 2 circles, and we have a big section here that goes on infinitely this way. So what we need to do is we need to test out a number in each of these sections. And if a number works in that section, then the whole section is filled in. But if that number that you put in the section doesn't work, then the whole section doesn't work. So let's go ahead and test out a number in this section first, the one to the left. Anything less than -5 to the left of -5 will work. So let's try out -6 then. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in -6 into this equation, and if the equation is true, then we're going to fill in this whole section. So we're going to replace x with -6. So x squared is going to become -6 squared plus 2 times -6, because that's x, minus 15 is greater than or equal to 0. So let's go ahead and simplify this down. -6 squared, that's -6 times -6. 6 times 6 is 36, and that's 2 negatives, and 2 negatives make a positive. So it's positive 36. Here we have 2 times 6, which is 12, and we have 1 negative sign, so the negative sign carries over, and then minus 15 is greater than or equal to 0. 36 minus 12 is 24, and I'm running out of room here, so we're going to move it over here. 24 minus 15 is 9. Our statement here is 9 is greater than or equal to 0. Is that true? Yeah, 9 is bigger than 0. So in this case, this section here is going to be true. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill in this whole section. And remember that this section goes on infinitely this way, so we're going to draw a little arrow at the end to show that it goes on infinitely. All right, we're good for that section. Let's look at this section now. We can pick out any number in this section. So I think the easiest one to pick will be 0, because 0 is in the section. So we're going to replace x with 0 whenever we see it. So x squared is going to become 0 squared plus 2 times 0 minus 15 is greater than or equal to 0. And now 0 squared, well, that's 0 times 0, which is 0, so that cancels out. 2 times 0, anything times 0 is 0, so that also cancels out. So all we're left with now is -15 is greater than or equal to 0. Is that true? Nope, this is not true. -15 is not bigger than 0, and it's not equal to 0. So in this case, this whole section here is not true. So we're not going to shade it in. We're going to leave it blank. So now we're just left with this final section here, 3 and everything bigger than 3. So we can pick any number in this section. The easiest thing to do would pick the smallest number, so let's go ahead and pick 4. I guess you technically could pick 3 as well, but when you have like open circles, you're not allowed to pick the same number. So just to keep things the least confusing as possible, I'm just going to pick 4. So whenever we see x, we're going to replace it with 4. So 4 squared plus 2 times 4 minus 15 is greater than or equal to 0. So 4 squared, that's 4 times 4, which is 16, plus, and then 2 times 4 is 8, minus 15 is greater than or equal to 0. 16 plus 8 is 24, minus 15 is greater than or equal to 0. And running out of room again, so we'll move it over here. 24 minus 15 is 9. So this is actually the same thing that we had before. Is 9 greater than 0 or equal to 0? Yeah, it's greater than 0, right? 9 is bigger than 0. So this whole section is going to be shaded in. So we're going to go ahead and color in this whole section, and we're going to put a little arrow at the end to show that it goes infinitely. So there you go. We have our answer, but it's a number line. Shouldn't the answer be in numbers? So there's actually 2 ways to write your answer. Whichever one you use is just going to be based on which one you like more, or which one your teacher likes more. So the first way is going to be using these little fancy bracket things that are technically called braces. Whenever you're writing something with multiple answers, like let's say 1, 2, and 3, you would put them in these fancy brackets, and these are called a set. So this shows that there is a set of numbers. So what you can do is you can say x such that, and this line here means such that. And basically what this means is you're saying that all the answers are x when x is within the boundaries that you set here. So all we have to do is basically just write what we see here. So if it is an answer, if it is less than or equal to 5, remember that -5 is part of the answer. So we have to include the or equal to. So if x is less than or equal to -5, it is an answer. And then we're going to go ahead and put or, because it doesn't have to be both of these, it just has to be one of these. X can also be, in this case, it can be 3 or bigger. So what we have to do is we have to put greater than or equal to 3. Because remember, the line underneath means or equal to, because 3 is part of our answer. So there you go. This is one way to write our answer. X such that x is less than or equal to -5, or x is greater than or equal to 3. Yeah, that was a mouthful, but here's the other way you can write your answer. The other way you can write your answer is using something called interval notation. What is that? Well, let's say you wanted to write all the numbers from 1 to 4, but you wanted to say that 1 is included in your answer, but 4 is not included in the answer. So what you would do is you would write 1 comma 4. But the signs that you encase them in are important. If the number is included in the answer, you're going to use brackets. In this case, 1 is included in the answer, so we're going to put a bracket. But if the number is not included in the answer, then you have to use parentheses. So 4 is not included, so we're going to put a parenthesis to close it. And I know this looks really cursed because we have a bracket and a parenthesis, but this is how you do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to show, remember, this goes on infinitely. So this is going to go all the way to -infinity. So for our first interval, we're going to put -infinity all the way to -5. So what signs do we use? Well, -infinity, even though it goes all the way there, infinity itself is not actually a number. So we have to use a parenthesis. Now is -5 included? Well, yes it is. Remember, that's why we filled in the circle here. So we're going to use a bracket. Now we're going to do another interval. And the symbol that we use to show another interval is like this U shape here. This U shape means union, like we're bringing these two intervals together. So our second interval is going to be from 3 all the way infinitely this way, so positive infinity. 3 is included, so we're going to use a bracket. And infinity, even though it goes all the way there, infinity is not a number, so it's not included, so we're going to put a parenthesis. So there you go. This is the second way to write your answer, and that's this. So there you go. You now know how to solve quadratic inequalities by doing just algebra, no graphing. But chances are, if you're watching this, you may still be struggling with actually graphing them. So if you want to learn how to graph quadratic equations, then you can watch this video right here. And as always, if you enjoyed this video and you have any questions about it, then go ahead and leave it in the comments and I'll be sure to answer your question. Thanks for watching.